To miss a minute is to miss a lot. Thanks so much. Thanks for calling. And let's face it, you've got friends on Facebook. And I'll tell you what, I kind of wanted to talk today about some of the things that everybody seems to be experiencing in their lives along with this pandemic.
We're winding down to the weekend. You're winding down to going to Florida, so you're fasting and all of your stuff. You're leaving Monday?
Next week, yeah.
Next week?
Yeah.
We're going to miss you.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I'm one of the they people that we're going to be talking
Let's talk about the they
one of those
people.
they peoples. Have you ever heard of that type of person?
I'm really disfamiliar, so why don't you explain to me the they?
Okay.
I've heard about they, like when you're talking about like they have it out against you and
Yes.
they okay.
Yes.
They.
Those type of people have it out against what you want to do, or they stop your progression, or they're not happy for you. There's a lot of people that do not want to see people succeed. Do you know anybody like that?
Yeah, I'm one of them.
What?
Well, I'm the devil's advocate. My stand-in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the stand-in devil's advocate, so I am they. Bring it.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
You don't want to see people succeed
No.
because you feel that it pushes them harder to.
No, I get tingly inside when people fail.
Wow.
You hear that? You hear it?
Really?
No.
I
But
was gonna
yes,
say-
this is the role that I'm playing
This-
today.
yeah,
You got to
well,
understand,
he's-
like, don't
he's
break me
role-playing.
out of. I'm trying to build up to this character, and you're bringing me down.
I think these type of people genuinely are miserable with their lives.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't want to see somebody else succeed. They don't want to see somebody.
Why would you not want to do that, though? Let's kind of dig a little bit and find out what inside would make rookie.
These telemarketers. How do we shut these telemarketers off? Go away.
So what about a person that would look at you and say, oh, Justine's so close to success. Let me see if I can stamp on her ambition.
There are people like that. There are people that don't want to see other people happy, only because maybe in their life isn't ending up the way they thought it would be. Okay. They don't want to see you, they see you struggle and they're like, ha 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 ha, you're struggling too. I can understand you're struggling because I'm struggling as well. But the minute that you rise a step above what they're doing, but through hard work and determination, not through anything else, they don't like that because now you've got a one-up on them. A lot of people do not like one-ups. Do you know anybody that you know has a one-up on you, or maybe you're a one-up on them?
I know more people than you.
I'm sure you do. Your Facebook page is bigger.
You see what I did there?
I do. Yes.
I love when I pull those little
I
quippy
know,
things off because
yeah.
that came right on the fly.
It did too. You're getting good. You're getting real good with me.
But what
true.
I see is that, you know, when you're struggling, you have a lot of people that say you can do it and be anything you want to be. And then when you do that, when you go and get it, then those same people are like, oh wait, you're moving too fast. Get back down here.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that will take the wind right out of somebody's sail and start with a negative talk and say, well, you can't do that. Why would you think you could do that? You don't have the experience for this, or you don't have the money for that, or it's going to take a lot of time and you don't have time for this. So there's a lot of people that try to take the wind out of people's sails. So like you kind of just did. But I have to say that I came across this article when I was looking for different things to talk about on the show today, and it just kind of was like, yes, I think people can relate to this. It's by Nur Ayel, How to Achieve Your Goals by Creating an Enemy. Okay. So the more successful you become, do you ever notice that people drop off that were your friends? Mm-hmm. People don't want you to succeed. They want to see you miserable because misery loves company. Okay. So, the best way to ever, and I have to tread lightly with this, the best way to ever, I guess, get even with somebody is to be successful.
Okay.
You agree?
I agree. Yeah.
Wow, he agrees. Now, DJ Khaled, okay, not only does he perform music and play music, he has coined the phrase "they people." Those type of people, they don't want you to be motivated. They don't want you to be inspired. They don't want you to win. They don't want you to get ahead. They want you to be complacent. They want you to just be stuck inside yourself. So he's really on to this. He says, these are the type of people that Ellen would stay away from on her show. These are the negative, the wrong types of people that will help you to get further in life. Yeah. And not so much help you, but you need a cheerleading section sometimes. You need people to uplift you. You need to surround yourself with the positive and not so much with the negative. Okay.
And really the only way to defeat those people is to what you said, which is go succeed a bunch and they stop messing with you.
Yes. These people that we surround ourselves with, and there's so much negativity out there nowadays, they don't want you to even believe in yourself. They will tell you 1,000,001 ways why you can't do something, or why your idea is bad, or why you're never going to succeed at something. But they don't have any answers as to help you to get to that next level. So they're really not your cheerleading section. They're your bring down section. They're your negative energy section that you just need to poo-poo away and just say, go. Okay. It's very, very hard when you get around negative people not to ensue that energy and be negative yourself. Okay. You even will find yourself doing scapegoating. We all know what scapegoating is. It's putting the blame on other things or other people or reasons why you couldn't do something. Well, that's a lot of what these people do. And history has shown that throughout the course of the years, that's all people have done is scapegoated and said reasons why they couldn't succeed, or why things didn't go the way they had planned, or why they put the idea by the wayside. So scapegoating, not a good thing. Negative people do the scapegoating. You need to get scapegoating out of your vocabulary, out of your mind, out of your thought process, and just do it. Be like Nike and just do it. And if people tell you it can't be done, prove to them why things can be done.
Now, do you really think most of the people they become negative because of the habit of being negative, or do you think they really have ill intent where they're really trying to take wind out of your sails on purpose?
I think people have been kicked so much that that's all they know now, a lot of people. And, we keep pushing the positive energy, but when you're kicked down so many times and that's pretty much all that you know, it's pretty much all that you breed, and it grows in you, it grows outside of you. It's just what you're stuck in. You're stagnant. You're not moving forward. You're not moving backwards. You're just stuck. You're not outside the box, so to speak. You're not pushing yourself to do better. You're stuck.
Right.
You're just.
Well, I think that some people will they have good intentions where they care about your safety. Like if you had a kid and he was running around and you're like, you're going to fall, right? You picture what you don't want to happen. And then you basically populate today with what could happen. And then it takes you down negative boulevard because you really care about your kid falling and hurting themselves. I can see how that can happen. Like, don't start a business. You could fail, right?
Exactly.
So
how many people have said that? You don't have enough startup capital. You don't have enough of anything. What makes you think that this business is going to fly? And then, they want you to do a business plan. Well, where do you see yourself in a year from now, 5 years from now? You don't know, but you've got to take that plunge. If you don't ever do it, you're never going to know. How about you? When you started out your businesses, did people tell you it can't be done?
That was fuel for me. And if you gave me like friction, it made me want to do it so much more. I was a rebel though. So telling me I couldn't do something was just a license to like really go all bore.
Oh yeah. And I'm the same way. If somebody tells me something can't be done, I will find 1,000,001 reasons why I can.
Yep.
And that's what people have to keep in the back of their minds. Don't listen to somebody who's negative and you'll take a look at their life, and not to cut them down or scapegoat and be malicious, but take a look where they are and take a look where you are and where your goals are. And this kind of goes back to many of the different shows that we've had about putting out into the universe. What you're putting out there, it's going to come back to you. Yep. So be careful what you wish for. wish for a thriving business, but keep in mind too, is this thriving going to take time away from family, time away from friends, time away from home life? So, watch what you wish for, but also don't stop wishing for something. So put the positive energy out there and try to stay away from some of these scapegoating people. And when you're trying to break away from scapegoating, stop putting blame on things. Stop putting blame on people. Stop putting blame on situations. That's, take, if you know that something's happened or something's wrong, don't scapegoat it, own up to it, take responsibility for it, and then find a way to move past it. And that is the number one way to start setting goals and start, if you can get past this and you stop blaming somebody for this problem and that problem, own up to it. It's yours, fix it, and move on. And
Good advice. I like it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
See? You are able to change your own actions, your own course through life, even your own mindsets, if just by owning up to something instead of saying, well, it happened because of this, or it happened because of that person.
The excuse making.
If this didn't happen, then of course that didn't happen.
The economy wasn't right, or I didn't have enough money, or, waiting for a better time.
And they say here, it's bad behavior. There's underlying causes why people are doing scapegoating. Okay. Bad behaviors. You've got to ask yourself these questions. Intuition a lot plays a key role in this. Is your intuition on tap? If you don't have positive vibes going out there, and we talked about this last week about your gut feeling and your intuitions, you got to dig deep down into that. That gives you answers as well.
Right.
But don't not listen to your intuition and then start the scapegoating process. So it's a process. It definitely is a process.
Yeah, because if your intuition suggesting you're going to come up blanks and you're going to be a failure and everything happens, that's not intuition. That's just fear.
It is fear. And it takes, what did we say, 21 days to start a habit. So if you start honing in on your intuition, you start changing your life a little bit, stop doing the scapegoating, stop putting the blame, you're going to see everything start to turn around in the direction that you want it to be in. And the problem is a lot of people, especially since our intuition's frequently wrong, they're saying, because we're not listening to ourselves. Is it? Oh, it's Fred. I thought it was you. I thought it was Amazon. Right. Where is our delivery, Fred?
That's the point where you think about it, they just deliver.
That's right.
It's Christmas here every day. But with scapegoating, they say maybe we don't binge on junk food or YouTube videos because of the pleasure in what we're consuming. Deeper problems are consuming us. We don't go and watch anymore. We don't use our brains. In other words, we don't expand on it. We don't have creativity. We don't have anything of that. It says perhaps the true reason we allow our phones to interrupt dinner is not that we're addicted to our phones, but that we're addicted to work. So we're not going outside of our comfort zones anymore. We are addicted to certain things. Some people are addicted to alcohol. Some people are addicted to drugs. Some people are addicted to work. Some people are addicted to who knows what. But you've got to set some time and set some priorities and set some boundaries as well. So,
agreed.
Wow.
I have nothing to add. Like, you're just covering it. I mean,
I've done this 3 weeks in a row.
That just disarmed me. I don't have anything to offer. I'm just going to sit here and look pretty.
They say, and they say once we've identified our own self-defeating behaviors, the next challenge is to implement the change. And they're saying it can be difficult, especially with what's happening to us. And maybe we don't have control over some of the things that are happening to us. Just let it, like you always say, just let it play out. Let it play out and see how it changes. You may feel powerless. You may not know, how do I do this? How do I gain control? Because so many people try to be in the driver's seat and try to control so much. I'm one of those people. I have to have plan A, B, C, and D. If I don't know if plan A is going to work, okay, then I've got this backup. And then if that backup doesn't work, then I've got the next backup.
Well, I don't think that's bad. I think what happens is, like, when you have sort of like a single parameter, you're over invested into single outcome, right? But if you plan, if it's heads, here's what I'm going to do, and if it's tails, here's what I'm going to do, then you've covered options where you're not really disappointed. You're prepared no matter what gets thrown your way.
But see, people tell me that's indecisiveness.
No, not me.
or that I overanalyze a situation because I have all these other A, B, C, and D.
Well, you have your preferred one, right? Plan A is the one you want to happen. Like it's the best version of it. But if plan B happens, that maybe next time you work harder to get it to be plan A, but you know what you're going to do if plan B hits, right? So I think that's just being over prepared. I love it.
But see, people don't do that. And people look at me like, and that's another, those people, they people. Oh, you overanalyze everything. You put too much thought and stuff. No, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people. But they say when you feel powerless and you give up and you start doing the scapegoating, okay? They say by directing your anger and anxieties at an invisible they, all right, the forces working against us seem more tangible, so we feel like we have more power to fight them. So have an imaginable friend and get mad at that friend. Do you ever find yourself talking out loud to yourself?
I'm the craziest person you know. Of course, I have people I can't see. Of course.
Yes. So
I don't necessarily think that I argue with anybody, though. I don't find myself arguing very much. I have meetings with people, some heated arguments with I'm not calling them arguments, just debates.
Out loud?
Out loud. Yeah. Using coarse language. All the time.
Now, I will find that I'm thinking of something, but then I will answer myself out loud. Okay. I may not have a whole conversation out loud, but I'm thinking and thoughts are going. I'm going, yeah, okay. And I know I do this.
And observers are looking like, what's going on here?
Well, I had a friend ask, what? I'm like, what'd you say?
I was just talking to me.
I was just like, nothing. No, you said something. I'm like, because
Right.
It takes too long to try to figure out what I was talking about to try to explain it. But people do think you're crazy when you answer.
Well, there's a lot of power into vocalizing what you're thinking about. You get to hear it and hear what it sounds like and whatever. So as long as there's nobody around, I'll have these debates just to hear it go down in real time. Because what you say in your head and when you say it out loud can be different.
Have you ever had an incident coming up and you had to go talk with somebody and you played it out in your mind, the conversations back and forth?
I rehearse a lot of things. That way.
Yeah. And then you get to that point and you're like, that did not go the way I thought that would.
I just rehearsed something that didn't even happen.
A couple of different ways. And you're just like, oh.
But think about it though. Like your plan A, B, and C, you took the one that you wanted to be prepared at and you made sure you're ready for that one. It's always been in my experience that the one that actually happened was far better than the one that I was afraid of when it was in my head.
I know I have planned out in having conversations with people. Some of the conversations maybe you didn't want to have, maybe it was work related or family related or situation related. Okay. And you're thinking, oh, I really don't want to talk to this person about this, but you go in and you're like, okay, so this is how I'm going to do this opening. And you get through it and you know, it wasn't so bad, but then you're thinking to yourself, okay, so how did that end? Did you ever get to that?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, did we come up with a final? Did we figure out where this is going? Because sometimes you have this conversation and you're so engrossed in this conversation in your mind. And when you talk to that person, you're like, okay, that wasn't so bad, but did we solve anything?
Yeah, right. Because you'll kind of pussyfoot around it and not do the thing in your head that you were kind of opposed to, and then in the end nobody ever brings it up. You're like, we're gonna have this conversation again. I can tell.
But do you ever have it?
No,
it never
just goes away.
It never surfaces again. And sometimes when you think this is such a big problem and I've got to talk to somebody, it's not as big as a problem as you make it out to be. And I think that's why sometimes we create some of these things in our mind to make us feel more powerful. But when you're powerless, all right, you lose your temper with your kids, you lose your temper with your spouse. It's just a way to blow off steam because something and scapegoating didn't go the way you wanted it to. So you kind of got to be careful how you're directing your anger, who you're directing your anger out at, and if there's going to be any type of, I don't want to say like a reconciliation type thing, but if there's going to be a final answer to the big problem that you've just blew out the door, your wife, your kids, your dog, whoever. But I think myself, when I talk to myself and I try to come up with a answer to problems, I keep thinking in my mind, did I make that bigger than it had to be? Did I scapegoat? Did I blame somebody? I never really get the answers myself either. So
somebody told me when I was a kid that whenever you're afraid, and this was like something in your closet or under your bed, okay, don't ever tell yourself that it's not there. Tell yourself that it's there, and every minute it gets bigger. And so the quicker you jump on going and seeing, like I won't sit there and say, hey, there's something in my closet and just be fearful of it. I'll get up because if another minute goes by, it's going to get scarier and bigger and more ferocious. So I'll jump in there and take a look at whatever it is quick. And then I converted that later in life that if I walk into a room, I make sure that I punch the biggest, meanest person in the room right off the get-go. Yep. Get it out of the way.
Now, see, I think when you let, like you said, an argument or someone, and it festers, and the longer that it goes, it's harder to circle back and talk to that person because the more, and even with relationships, when you know that significant other and you are going at it, and then you guys stop talking. And it's like, or with the boss or somebody, it is so much harder that after time ticks by and keeps going.
That's under the bed. That gremlin under the bed just gets more and more ferocious as time goes by.
It does. So take the bull by the horns, hold on tight, and just let it all out and be the bigger person. In other words, say, you know what? There's something going on here. There's a problem. We need to fix this. And I think people will respect people more for that if you do not so much be confrontational about it, but do it in a way so that it's off your mind, it's off your conscience. Maybe it's not off theirs, and who cares, but at least you can sleep at night.
Right. You know, I think this show, we are probably about 100 cliches in. We've used about 100 different cliches during one show. I might go back and edit this one and put a little counter on there, and every time, like, if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. Grab bull by the horns.
Have we really done that?
We did. I've just been noticing, yeah.
Yeah, people count these. Start counting. We'll give a prize if we can get up to 100. How about that?
If we reach 100 with one show, you get a prize.
There is a way to use scapegoating productively. Have you ever done that?
I don't think so.
Well, they say
teach me.
I'm going to try. In order for productive scapegoating to work, it's important not to assign blame to something or someone too specific, but if we do so, we'll shirk our responsibilities to change our own actions. Okay?
I'm with you.
Was that deep?
It was deep.
Okay. Instead, we need to find the underlying causes of bad behaviors, which requires asking difficult questions, especially since our intuition, again, frequently is wrong. They want you, I guess, from what this article is saying, it was a great article that with scapegoating, you can be powerful. You can use it as a powerful tool. Okay. It can propel you. Just like if somebody tells you, no, you can't do that, and it makes you work 5 times harder, scapegoating on your own terms can push you and propel you, where those they people, you know, if there's nobody around, or if there's those they people that keep being negative to you, turn it on yourself, and it will give you the energy to say, I can do this. This is something I can do. Even though I'm thinking I can't, it's going to make me work that much harder because of those ill naysayers.
And you don't have to be an actual dick to yourself. You can still put the pressure on yourself without, you know, all the other emotional stuff.
But see, when people do this, you have to be careful, because if you come up on a failure, then people will turn to cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, and all that. So you can't really put too many pressures on you, at least very hard pressure. Do it in steps. Do it in everything's baby steps, because the more failures that you have, the more you look at yourself and you're like, oh my God, I can't do anything right. My personal life is going down the drains. I feel like my work job or my work is going down the drain. My friendships are going down the drain. Everything starts coming at you, and you start thinking, I'm a complete failure on everything. And that's why people turn to these amphetamines, that word I couldn't pronounce earlier.
I'm going to let a sleeping dog lie.
Yes, just let it keep snoring. They actually say that when people do try, once you start getting these habitual things, that there was a study of cigarette smokers, I guess in 2014, smokers most likely to fall off the wagon after quitting were the ones who believed they were powerless to resist it. So if you think you can't do it, and your mind's telling you can't do it, chances are you're not going to do it. You've got to find that push inside yourself. You've got to find a scapegoat that is a good scapegoat that's going to propel you into, yes, you can do this. Yes, you can, you've got the ability, you can handle this. This isn't something you can't do. And this isn't something you have no control over. Grab a little bit of control and go forward. Your mind's going.
Oh, of course it is.
Go ahead, spill it.
No, I'm listening to everything you said. This is good advice. I'm picturing like the person out in our audience that the mechanics of this, they've been around it, and now you're vocalizing, you're saying exactly what they're experiencing. So I think that's very helpful to our audience.
I hope so. Did I use any more cliches? Where are we at now?
105. Okay. If you need fresh batch, I could look up some cliches that we haven't used yet.
Okay. Well,
she just dismisses me. I'm just annoyance at this point.
If we believe in, and this is saying here, just like what I was just saying, if we believe we're powerless, we don't even try not to fail. You kind of have to fail. And I've said this before in other shows that we've had, you kind of have to fail in order to succeed.
You do.
Joe, I feel like I'm preaching to you.
I know.
Like there's nothing.
I know.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, they also did a study on the Journal of Studies on Alcohol and Drugs found in individuals who believed they were powerless to fight these cravings. Okay. They found that these people were much more likely to drink again because they felt that they had no power over stopping. They had no power over themselves, and they let this addiction, this powerlessness, determine whether they were able to relapse or go through treatment, or how the outcome was going to be, the dependency. So myself, thank God I don't have a dependency, and I think that would be the hardest thing to go through. And I give kudos and credit to anybody that is going through a tough situation like this. Keep sticking it out. Keep putting little goals out there, and keep obtaining those little goals. And little by little, those people will not be in your corner anymore. You're going to surround yourself with more positive people. And each little step that you're going up is going to be an accomplishment. And you're going to be able to say, I did that. There's not going to be any scapegoating. And, you look back on your accomplishment, and to all those naysayers telling you couldn't do it, you could actually do it.
Yeah, and they don't stick around, man. Once you don't take heed their warnings, that they go bug somebody else.
They don't want you because they realize that you're not a pushover anymore. These people are more like, I'm going to tread lightly, these people are more like bullies. They like to bully you around. They like to make you feel small. They like to make you feel like, you have no control over yourself. Yep. But the minute that you start to do that, and it's just something clicks, and it's like, wow, that wasn't so bad. But make it a small click. Make it a small step so that you're able to do the next step, because you don't want to do something so big. And if you possibly failed at it, you're going down three flights of steps more.
And it's I told you so. Told you.
Mm-hmm. You never want to hear I told you so.
No.
I hate to hear I told you so. You never want to make yourself feel like you're powerless, like you have lost control of yourself. So, like I said, take those baby steps. One little baby step will lead to another little baby step, and you're going to be farther along in the long run than you are with these naysayers. And when you start to open up the doors for the positivity to come in, and you're like, I did that. I'm so proud of myself. I was able to accomplish that. You will suddenly feel a shift, and things won't be as serious and as hard. Oh, they're going to be hard. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to do a slight shift, and you're going to feel a little bit more in control of yourself, and you're going to be able to, okay, that wasn't so bad. You're going to be able to do the next step. And you're going to find that you're going to start to surround yourself with different people. And it's amazing how the shifting happen. It does happen.
Right.
Some people don't believe it. Some people will say, oh, I've tried this and I've tried that, and I fell off the wagon, and here I go again. But when you start to let yourself become powerless, that's when you got to take back your power. You got to take back your mojo.
Well, here's an analogy. This is a good one.
Oh, good. He's got an analogy.
I do. And so it's like a workout analogy. Like when you decide you're going to lift weights or something like that, like when you first get started, you you're weak and you're flabby man and you're not strong. And in order to get strong, you have to work out to the point where you tear some muscle.
Oh, sure.
Create some injury. And as long as you don't create too much injury, you heal from it and then you become stronger. And you keep repeating that process until like the version of you that first got started, and in comparison to the one that's worked out for a little while, like you couldn't handle the same stuff that you do now had you not gone through the tears and the breaks and the healings, along the way.
And I personally think that those tears and those breaks and the healing, it prepares you for something so much bigger down the road.
Sure.
It truly does. And if you didn't go through all of that, you would have never been able to handle what will be coming at you down the road. Now, don't think it's going to be negative. Don't act like, oh my God, what am I going to go through after this? How am I going to prepare myself for what's about to come? Don't stress yourself out. Let it happen.
Because you're looking at it through how you are today in your eyes. You're going to be a completely stronger person when you hit that. So looking at it through your perspective now is just not a good way of looking at it.
It's not. And because you're making judgments and you're being, you're wondering, okay, I'm getting through this now, but how am I going to be down the road? And am I going to want to go back to my bad habits? No, it's slowly but surely teaching you that this is what you need to do. This is how you're going to survive. You're going to get through this, but you don't want those naysayers back there saying, you can't do this. You can't do this. Shut that off. Shut that part of your mind off and just do it. Just go with it.
Yep.
So how about that?
Good job.
Scapegoating can, like we said, it can increase motivation. It can increase resistance to temptations. Okay. It can make you work harder and achieve your goals. And the best thing that it can do is get you so fired up to do all this. So if you can twist the scapegoating around to be a positive in your life instead of the negative field that you're going through, and you're going to be losing these people. Trust me when I tell you, these people don't want to be around you. No. They don't want you to succeed. Keep trucking, keep doing it.
And the temptations, that's an interesting one that you bring that up. I mean, I guess you could think about it like if you something is one of your weaknesses. You love chocolate cake. And the temptation would be if you put chocolate cake close enough to you that at some point you think you will give in to your temptations, right? And so testing yourself is you try to move it a little bit closer and try to increase your ability to say no to that. Well, the theys out there are the ones that are going to say, do it. You know you want some. Just take a bite. That's all you need to do. It's so good.
Well, even those they people, okay, you're going to assign blame to them. And did you know that assigning this blame is kind of a psychological defense mechanism for you? It's a way for you to put that shield up and keep these people at bay. And it frees you from uncomfortable feelings when bad things happen or spins us out of control. But it's a wall that you're putting up, or when you don't want to accept responsibility for your own problems. Like we said, own up to those problems. The minute you start owning up to these problems and you start getting away from they, them, those people, is the minute that, like I've said before, things start to shift. Things, they may not get a lot easier, but you're going to feel it and you're going to go, wow, I got through that. That wasn't as bad as what I thought that was going to be. And it does. It makes you a stronger person. It makes you able to conquer that next step that you have to step up on.
I used to misinterpret like people the theys before, because I used to try to be reasonable with them and explain why I don't want the chocolate cake, and they were sitting there trying to jam it in my face. I thought that they were being reasonable too, and that was my misunderstanding. Where I have to participate and actually jump into the temptation with them. They really can't make me do anything, right? Even if they can make it more likely, or they can make suggestions, or they can make me feel bad, or they can make me guilted, right? I effectively have to say, all right, fine, give me the chocolate cake. And that's where it comes down.
You give in.
Would I give in? No, I would never give in.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I don't give in. I listen to what people have to say, and believe me, there's a lot of naysayers out there. There's a lot of people that don't want you to go with your passion. There's a lot of people that don't want you to maybe open up that new business, or there's a lot of people that no matter what you do, they're not happy for you, no matter what it is.
But you just picture me like someone saying, "Hey, you go ahead, do the cake." Exactly what they know that I don't want. Me, I'd sit back and say, I'd explain to them why I don't want to eat the cake. Like, it's not healthy for me. Like, that's going to dismiss they're trying to get me to hit that temptation. Cause I think it's just a misunderstanding. They think I want the cake and I really don't want the cake. So me explaining to them was a fool's errand.
But here's the thing too, when you look back and you are in control of your life, you are in control of everything that you do. Why do you have to answer anybody?
You don't, but you feel like you do for some reason.
People feel like they're getting into too much of your business. They're getting in too much of your feelings, or they're getting into too much of how you're running your life. And that's a wall and a comfort zone, and you need your own space. So sometimes you need to put that wall out there and you know what? You're getting a little bit too close to where my personal space is. And sometimes you just need to tell people, back up. And you'd be surprised how good that feels.
Yeah.
Quite honestly. Have you done that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I can see you doing that.
Oh, yeah. But, there's some dangers in that, too, when you create boundaries that are too, because I do like to keep negative people completely away. So how many good people have I kept away because of their negativity? And that would be the only downside to that.
And like we said prior, people are negative. There's reasons. There's maybe things that they've gone through, and maybe they've got your best interest in heart.
They're afraid for you.
They're afraid for you. But how do you sort out the afraid? And I'm just looking out for you. I'm just looking out because I don't want to see anything happen to you. How do you put those on tiers or levels that, okay, well, they are looking out for my best interest and maybe I shouldn't do this. How do you know how to sort through that?
Yeah, that's probably one of the hardest things for me. I'm not good at it, managing those kinds of things. I would rather not deal with it. So you find yourself just having all positive people. So those negative people get caught in that net. Mm-hmm. With me, of course. So,
well,
yeah. What's my obsession with chocolate cake? I understand. Like, I've mentioned it like 100 times during this show.
You did?
Yeah. Chocolate cake.
Are you
not
fasting
hungry
again?
I am fasting. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So maybe, but if I ate chocolate cake right now, it would make me sick. I don't think I could handle it.
So Joe, when you do your fasting and you do your changing through things in your life, does your fasting help you or hurt you, or does it make you focus in on what you need to accomplish?
Short term, it hurts the crap out of me, and in long term, I love it. It makes me so much better.
Does it make your mind clear?
Yes.
So you would suggest people just sit back and fast? And
I suggest people who are healthy to fast, because it is a shock to the system, and if you're not healthy, it could do more damage than if you didn't do anything at all. So
now, see, I had been given good advice by somebody, and I've always held this true, that when you are in a situation and you don't know what to do, you've got people pulling from you this way and you've got people pulling from you that way, and you're just like, oh, I don't know what to do. That's when I was told, sit back and do nothing, because you can't make a very good decision when you've got things pulling you this way and things pulling you that way. And sometimes when you take a step back and you remove yourself from the situation settles itself without you even having to do anything or think anything more about it. It just happens. Have you ever had that happen?
I use a system where, like, my opinion has a vote of 1 and everybody else has a 0.01. So it takes a whole lot of other people to basically outweigh my vote. And so where I'll listen to everybody and I'll weigh it in there with everything else, it doesn't have ultimate. So I will usually just barrel ahead and do
what you want to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So what advice would you give somebody who listens to what everybody else has to say, can't make their own decision, can't stand on their own 2 feet, or they get knocked down because, well, you should have listened to me. What I told you so. Why didn't you listen? What advice do you give to people that have to have that nurture from something?
We pick authorities in certain areas. Like when health things, we talk to our doctor and let our doctor give us a higher vote than the guy that works down the street from us or whatever. And I think a lot of us, we give authority to people who really shouldn't have that authority, and their opinion about things means way too much more than it should, because we have a trouble hurting people's feelings. If I came and said, here's a great stock tip, buy this tomorrow, how likely are you going to do that? Unless I was an authority and you know that I do that all the time and I made a lot of money on that stock tip, right? That's where we did put it. It has to be a meritocracy where you take advice on marriage from someone who has a successful marriage, right? You take health advice from someone who has sort of healthy in the department that you are. So I think we misalign ourselves a lot of times.
I think so. I think I can agree with you on that one. And I wanted to kind of say no. Because we've been agreeing with each other way too much.
Heck yeah.
Unless I've went through the school of Joe and Hard Knocks and starting to get onto what you're saying. Yep. But yeah, no, I thought today that maybe some of these people could really help. And this could really help, and they could really use when you got that nagging and somebody is negative and telling you can't do it. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes,
and these topics you've been bringing up lately, I consider them sort of like finesse topics, right? It's not binary where none of these things are evil or good, but they're get an understanding for what makes people. So if you have someone in your life that, is completely negative, you kind of frame it so you know what information you can garner from someone who's super negative. If you want to see, sort of outcomes that can harm you. I mean, there's there could be some value in it. I wouldn't ever make a decision based on a negative person, but I would still listen and be able to extrapolate, details.
I have found that after talking to this person for so long, or these people for so long, you kind of don't share your information anymore, because you say to yourself,
what they're going to say.
Why do I even bother? Because I already know what I already know what you're going to say.
Should I start a business? No, you're going to fail. Okay, done.
Why do I even bother? Right. Why do I even open myself up for failure when you've already failed me before I've even come to you? So keep that in mind too when you're going and you're getting advice. Unless you're paying for that advice and it's coming from an accountant or an attorney or somebody who is in the business that can tell you, hey, when I started out, this is what happened. This is what you need to do. Make sure you check this out. Make sure you follow up with this, and make sure you start along this path line. Find out everything you can find out, but don't take the advice from somebody who's never done it before. It's real easy to sit there and say, oh, I wouldn't do that. But have you had the opportunity to do it? So don't sit there and go poo-poo stuff, or take poo-poo information from people that are poo-pooing you. How many times can I say that?
Another counter.
Thank you.
The poo-poo counter.
The poo-poo counter. But don't take that advice because they themselves have never been through it. So take that into consideration too. When you're looking for answers and you're looking to feel better about yourself, take it from somebody who's been there. Talk to somebody, whether it's a help hotline, whether it's an accountant or an attorney. Talk to somebody who has been through it that can actually give you worthwhile advice instead of negative advice.
There you go.
So there you go. So what do you think about today's show?
Good job, Justine.
Thanks.
Very helpful.
Yeah, I'll be speaking at a theater near you. So we're going to wrap today's show up. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Joe, thank you for, coming on board again and giving your insight and information. It's always helpful.
Sure.
Yeah. So join us next Tuesday for another version of Let's Talk with Justine Thomas. And again, if you have a show or a topic or something that you would like us to discuss, by all means, make sure to message us and we'll take a look at it and see what you have to offer. But from here, make sure you check us out on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're also on Facebook and
all the other platforms.
All the other platforms as well. You can find us. And this is all original Youngstown content. And we thank you for listening. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. If you like our programming, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Facebook page, or subscribe to your favorite podcast platform like iTunes or Spotify. This is original Youngstown content, and we would appreciate you sharing the videos and the word about us. Thank you.